also come to this. Johannesburg Water has announced a water outage affecting the areas including Joburg, Randburg, Soweto, Southdale, Ennerdale, as well as Johannesburg Central. Now, the outage will start on Tuesday until Friday, but officials further saying there's maintenance currently taking place. Residents in affected areas have been warned that recovery can even take between 5 and 14 days after the supply has been fully restored. So my colleague eNCA's Heidi Giokos brings us this report and joins me now to, of course, give us more details around this. Heidi, good to have you and good afternoon to you. Take us through the planned maintenance and also the water shutdown this week.
Yes, so we do know that from Tuesday, the 11th of July, until Friday, there's going to be a planned maintenance shutdown. So the areas that you mentioned and a whole lot more are not going to have running water. And this is because Rand Water has made it very clear that they have to, of course, deal with maintenance and infrastructure challenges. We do know they've added an additional day, so it's going to be about 58 hours that residents in all these affected areas will not be able to have access to water. I think what's alarming, though, is that Rand Water has said it might take up to 5 to 14 days before they have their water running back to normal capacity and the normal pressure. It's obviously a very big maintenance project that they are going to undertake. We've seen many areas affected with water issues, and these areas are, of course, a number of them that are not going to have water in the next couple of days. Rand Water said, please make sure you stock up. Please make sure that you also use water sparingly. I don't know which water, because people aren't going to have water from Tuesday morning until Friday, or Tuesday night rather until Friday morning. We spoke to a few businesses. They are very stressed, saying that if it's not load shedding, it's water. If it's not water, it's load shedding. Right. So they're constantly having to find alternatives. We did speak to a couple of residents, but I do believe we're going to listen to one resident who decided, I'm so tired of dealing with water cuts. I'm just going to go buy myself a Joburg tank. And he went and he bought himself a Joburg water tank, and it's going to be ready by Tuesday. So people are now trying to take out more money to not be so dependent on Rand Water. Let's listen to what he had to say to us.
Well, it seems unfortunately we don't have that bite, a colleague. We'll try and get a hold of it because that's important, hearing the voices of those directly affected, right? Speaking of those affected, what about hospitals? What about clinics? What about shopping centres? What about police stations, especially these national key points where we need service delivery from them? Are there any plans for them?
Yes, so what I do know, especially in the Helen Joseph area, Rahima Musa area, we do know that there are boreholes. So they don't necessarily depend on, for example, Joburg water, because those areas have been severely affected by water cuts. If I remember correctly, Helen Joseph did not have water for days. And this is when NGO Gift of the Givers decided to go in. There was a borehole that was drilled. They don't necessarily depend on the municipality for water, which is a great thing. But obviously, hospitals are going to have to make additional plans. They obviously have contingency measures, for example, Joburg tanks. Hopefully a number of them have boreholes. But I think what's worrying is that some residents said that, for example, businesses don't get supplied by the water tankers. So there are going to be different water tankers that are going to be situated in these areas, driving around, supplying water to residents, because it's not one day. Yeah. It's, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, Wednesday, a full day, Thursday and Friday till 5 a.m. But we don't know if Rand Water is going to encounter any challenges that might prolong the maintenance. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's shortened and not prolonged. But it seems as though there are contingency plans in terms of schools, hospitals, and everybody else who desperately needs water to survive. We all need water to survive. So hopefully it's not going to be too catastrophic. But Rand Water also pushed back its maintenance plan, because I understand that it was supposed to be mid-June, and they said no, they're going to now do it from the 11th of July. So I think they also understand the severity of it, but it seems as though this maintenance needs to happen.
Very important one to have it. Also that call being made that residents should stock up at least 48 hours before this water shutdown begins. But thank you so much, colleague, for bringing this to the fore. Quite a big, important reminder for anyone living out in that area, in Joburg, amongst other areas that have been mentioned, to please plan for your water and use it sparingly where you can. But again, as Heidi mentioned, without any water, what exactly is being spared? But this maintenance being quite important, according to the authorities.